Lily's bed. Okay, this just got really creepy. Oh, hi there, and welcome to part 4 of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Are you ready to go to school? Buddy, Ed, Christmas break's almost. Are you ready to go to school? Yeah, I'm not ready to go to school either. Before we do go to school, Lily's going to take us over to the Poke Center because, yes, it took this long to get to our first Pokemon Center, but we're finally here. And 7th Gen Pokemon Centers have a few different facilities that we can explore here. Lily's going to go over them briefly, and then I will go into a little bit more detail on some of these. Pokemon Centers are basically the most essential place to visit on your Pokemon adventures, and their primary function is to fully restore your Pokemon to full health, which is of course what you do at the center counter. Lily's going to say, we're going to go to school next once you are ready, so let's take a moment to take a little exploring around the place. First off, healing up. The animation for when you heal your Pokemon is absolutely awesome. 10 out of 10. After that, there is a PC to your right. If you're like me and you're planning on completing the Pokedex, you'll probably be using this a lot. The Pokedex, or the PC, is a place where you can store your Pokemon. It has 8 boxes in it, and as you fill up those boxes, you'll get access to more boxes with time, just like 6th Gen. Remember, you can only have up to 6 Pokemon in a party at the same time. If you have more, you're going to have to drop one of them off in the PC. Over on the right side is the Pokemart. The Pokemart is the place where you can basically buy all the items that you need. As you progress through the game, Pokemarts will eventually sell more and more items. I highly recommend that you stock up on Pokeballs, especially if you're planning on completing the Pokedex. I'm going to pick up 30. Remember that if you buy Pokeballs in bulks of 10, you'll get a free Premier Ball. That's been in Pokemon games for a very, very, very long time. It's hidden. It's not like something that you know if you just play through the games unless you learn about that somewhere online. So just keep that in mind when you buy Pokeballs. Additionally, you may want to pick up a variety of other different items right now just to have on your hand. Since you have Pokemon Refresh, healing items for status effects are far less valuable, but you may want to have a few of them just in case, as well as a few repels in case you get in a pinch and don't want to fight wild Pokemon. Whew! Lots of information. Thankfully, the trainer's school is like the last major part of the tutorial phase of this game, but we're getting there. The last thing in this Pokemon Center that I want to talk about is these cafes that are on the left side. The cafes are basically a place you could visit once a day, and you can buy a drink, and you'll get a few different items. I didn't even know it was possible to just walk up and get a random rare candy like the guy just gave me, but apparently if you feed your Pokemon Pokebeans, sometimes you can get rare items. Additionally, you can buy yourself a drink. No matter what drink you buy, it seems to always be $198, and then you'll get an I can English, guys. An accompanying drink, or an accompanying story. Holy moly, it's been a long day. I like how the guy's just like, I was always late for dates with my wife. And then, usually once a day, you'll end up getting a free snack that comes with it. And that snack is going to be from one of the regions, and it's going to be like their unique item. So Johto's unique item was the Rage Candy Bar, so you'll get one of those. They usually heal all the status effects, and you'll also get a few Pokebeans. So you want to do this every day just for the Pokebeans. The last thing I want to talk about is on the bottom screen, you're going to get a few new menu options that are now available to you. I'm not going to cover these right now. I think I'm going to just make a video for all of them one day. I haven't really decided what I want to do with them yet. But this is basically, for the most part, your online functionality. In the past, I've never covered online functionality. This time around, I might make a specific video just for it later on, once I figure out what I'm doing. Once you're done in the Pokemon Center, we can finally head on over to the trainer's school. And I like how Lily is just like, we'll leave that for someone else to deal with. That Taros over there. It's not important. Someone else can deal with it. So, take Lily's advice and head on into the Pokemon school, and we can meet up with the professor who somehow got ahead of us. Boy, he must have sprinted here or something. So this is school, because, you know, put him through the ringer, teach. Oh my god. Professor. And what is your obsession with the number 4? The professor is going to hand you the EXP share, one of the most essential key items in Pokemon games. I'll talk about that in a little bit after we go through the whole spiel here. The teacher's going to be like, you have to fight trainers as part of your school lesson here, and there are 4 of them for you to fight. So let your lesson begin. Huzzah. One of our students is even one of the trial captains, which we'll learn about in a bit. Additionally, Professor Cuckoo is going to mention that in these games, once you fight a Pokemon, you'll then know what moves are super effective and which moves are not effective. They added that to these games. It makes it even easier than before. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but it is worth mentioning. Lily will also heal up your Pokemon, and we can head up to the northeast to grab a potion and fight our first trainer. So I wanted to mention the EXP share because it's a very controversial item that was changed in 6th Gen. In 6th Gen, they made the EXP share now affect your entire Pokemon party. And because of that, in 6th Gen, it was very easy to get over-leveled really quickly. They changed the way EXP gains work in 7th Gen and returned it to 5th Gen's system, where if your Pokemon get too high leveled, they don't gain as much EXP. And if they're too low leveled, they'll get more EXP compared to what trainer's Pokemon you are fighting. So I personally recommend keeping the EXP share on. Something I personally like to do is to use more than the standard 6 Pokemon and even try to complete the Pokedex on my way. So I recommend that, but you can use the EXP share how you want. Also, there's a hidden Greatball here. There's another item to your bottom west. And the trainer that I just talked to won't fight you until you fight all the other trainers here. There's going to be a lot of trainers like that in this game where you have to fight everybody in an area before the final trainer will fight you. And then they act as like a pseudo boss of the area. If you head over to the west, we could head into this grassy area, and most areas in this game do have tall grass somewhere with some Pokemon. And this location is no exception, and it brings with it 3 new Pokemon. 2 of those Pokemon are new Alolan forms, the first of them being Meowth. Unfortunately, I thought Alolan Meowth would be awesome, and I think it's actually worse than even default Meowth. It's now a Dark type, and it's now focused more on special attack than attack. Unfortunately, its entire move pool is physical until its last move, which comes in the late level 60s. So, bad stats, bad move pool, Meowth gets a Pokeball. I don't think there's any real reason to use this one. Next up on the docket is Grimer, which evolves into Muck. It's now a Poison Dark type, and I actually think it's pretty good if you can get it to Muck. But its evolution happens at level 38, and Grimer's stats are pretty mediocre. I think it's worth a Great Ball status, though. If you get it to that Muck phase, it's pretty strong. It's a pretty strong Pokemon. It's just it takes forever to get to that point. But I think it's a little stronger than I originally thought it was after I took some time to sit and analyze its stats and move pool. It's got some good, solid, well-rounded stuff for a poison type. Additionally, you can pick up the electric steel type Magnemite here. Like Vikavolt, you can't evolve it until the extreme late game, but I think it has some awesome stats and moves, and I think it'll serve you well. So I give it a Ultra Ball status, but I'd say it's borderline Great Ball, but I think it's enough to reach Ultra Ball status. One last thing I want to mention, even if you don't use Meowth, it does have the ability, or it has the capability of having the pickup ability. The pickup ability is an outside of battle ability that you can basically, as you're traveling around, Meowth will pick up items with that ability. And because of that, if you don't have a full party of 6, it might be worth picking up a Meowth just to pick up some items here and there with the pickup ability, because there's probably not a chance that you have 6 Pokemon right now that you're planning to use throughout the game. So I recommend Meowth solely for that reason. Anyways, we're done outside the school, so let's head into school to explore. This room has a variety of different pieces of information, including the blackboard that talks about move matchups where water is weak to grass, fire is weak to water, etc., etc. The move trinity of grass, water, fire. I also like the preschool in the Southwest. I already passed by him, but he talks about, I wonder where the Pokeballs that don't catch Pokemon go. And after he said that, I'm like, huh, you know, you're right. The prescore in the top right also mentions what is known as stab, same type attack bonus. If you use a move that is the same type as the Pokemon that you're using, it gains 1.5 times the stat. And finally, you can pick up the Quick Claw here. I know in my past walkthrough series, it became a meme about the Quick Claw because I would always get asked where you find the Quick Claw. This is where you find the Quick Claw. So the Quick Claw is an item that lets your Pokemon occasionally attack first in battle. I also like this pre-score, because they're like, I fight up close and personal. Those are some really big words for a pre-score. I fight up close and personal. Come at me, bro. I'm a pre-score and I'm strong. Anyways, the Quick Claw, I got off track there from the pre-score. The Quick Claw is actually a pretty convenient item, but because these games, the Z moves basically are going to be consuming your Pokemon's hold items, you probably won't be using the Quick Claw very often. However, because most Alolan Pokemon are very slow, it might not be too bad of an idea to tack it onto one of your Pokemon for the time being. It'll come in handy in a pinch once in a blue moon. We can head up the stairs up this way, and there's a few more classrooms we can take a peek in. This classroom is mostly focused on abilities. Every Pokemon has their own unique ability. Some Pokemon can learn more than one ability. Meowth is one of them, so if you do try to get a Pokemon with pickup, remember you might have to catch a few Meowths to find one with the pickup ability. There are a gazillion different abilities in this game now compared to the old days. So I highly recommend that if you don't know what your Pokemon's ability is, you just go to the summary screen, you can press the I like that one kid said, and you can read up on what your ability does. That kid actually talks about the pickup ability that I already mentioned. It is a convenient ability to have when you don't have a full party of 6, because like I said, you might as well have that spot doing something in your party, even if you're not going to fill it with a Pokemon. Pokemon trainer schools have always had a blackboard that talk about status conditions. That room is the one that has status conditions for this school, and you can learn about a variety of different status conditions if you want. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, like poison makes your Pokemon lose HP every turn in battle, or paralysis sometimes prevents your Pokemon from attacking. Learning how to use status conditions in these games can be very useful, especially since Pokemon inflicted with status conditions generally become easier to catch. After we've fought 3 trainers, we can head back outside the school and we can take on the final trainer in this area, the Rising Star, the final boss. He's all about strength and being strong. So Rising Star Joseph is probably going to put to use everything you've learned in the trainer school because he uses a Grimer with poison gas, which is capable of poisoning your Pokemon. So just keep that in mind in this fight. It also has Poison Touch, which can poison your Pokemon. Use everything you've learned and put it to use, and you should be able to crush this guy no problem. He's not much of a final boss, but usually the final trainer of any area is a little bit stronger than other areas. And your reward for beating him is he's going to give you your very first TM, the TM1 Workup. This is a move that will raise your Pokemon's attack and special attack at the same time. It sounds good on paper, but it's actually not that good because most Pokemon tend to focus on just attack or special attack. The few Pokemon who can make use of this move, it's still not even all that good of a move because usually in the main games of Pokemon, raw strength is better. I'm going to be using my Pokeball system to rate TMs as well. Pokeballs aren't worth using. Great Balls are very situational. Ultra Balls are. If you have a Pokemon that can learn it, you probably should teach it to it because it's a strong move. And then you're going to get called to the office. Well, Lily, you see, I stuffed a kid into the locker. I mean, I don't know what I did. I'm innocent. I haven't been in school in forever. I was a goody two-shoes. I never got in trouble in school. I still feel guilty for something I did wrong in first grade. That's how much of a goody two-shoes I was in school. I still feel guilty over the things that I did wrong. I'm still mad about a time in third grade that I apparently got in trouble because on my report I didn't get like perfect marks or whatever. And I even asked the teacher, I'm like, what did I do wrong? He said, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? I've been a perfect student all year. Why didn't I get perfect score for my behavior? I'm still mad at that guy to this day. Okay. I need to do some letting go. I need to do some serious letting go. Anyways, once you head up to the principal's office, the teacher's gonna be like, yo, you beat all my students. That is unforgivable. Battle me to the death. So the teacher's gonna fight you, and they're even a step above all the 4 trainers that you fought throughout this place. But again, you're not gonna be fighting anything too serious here. The Magnemite might actually give you some trouble though if you start with Popplio. Make sure you have a second Pokemon to back up your Popplio for the Magnemite if you did start with Popplio. Electric types make starting with Popplio a little bit frustrating. And you'll also be rewarded for fighting her with a few Great Balls. Great Balls are slightly better than Pokeballs. I think they have like approximately a 1.5 times the catch rate of a regular Pokeball. So you want to use Great Balls on the Pokemon that you don't want to risk losing. And then Professor Cuckoo's going to show up and we can meet up with the first captain. And I'm going to assume it's pronounced Ilma, but I'm not even going to really try. I'm just going to call them the captain. And they're going to be like, yo, I'm the first trial captain. And you are a newcomer who I want to see the brilliance of your moves in my trial. So that trial is going to come up in a little ways at Verdant Cavern, which is after the first city that we're going to cover in the next video. So that trial still is a little ways off. Before we do that trial, you definitely want to make sure that you have a Pokemon party that is capable of conquering your first trial. That Tauros is pretty much a celebrity. Yeah, so I've noticed. Well, I guess Lily was right. Someone else solved it. And why did you have to announce that I completed my education over on the loudspeaker? And boy, I wish it was that easy to get an education in real life. I spent 4 years getting a college education, and all I had to do here was fight 4 trainers. That would be so much easier than what I went through. I would have loved it if I could have went to college and just was like, yeah, you have to win 4 Pokemon battles, and you graduated. Huzzah! Why, thank you, Lily. I appreciate that you think I was in perfect sync. Oh, you want to show me around the city? Is that a date you're asking me on, Lily? I would be glad to accompany you to the city on this lovely afternoon. So once you leave the trainer's school, she is going to walk you over to the west. And she's going to talk about how she was impressed. She thinks we are awesome. Huzzah. And you saved my dear Nebby. Nebby was so alone and afraid, and you saved him. And I thought someone dealt with the Staros. Why is the Tauros still there? What is wrong with this Tauros? Plot progression. Why, hello there, Hala. Do you mind? You want me to pat the Tauros? You know, Rotom, I don't always like what you have to say, but I kind of agree with you here. I'm kind of glad you don't have to be the one to pat this thing. The rascal already loves me. Great? Question mark? I am indeed sure I will meet many lovely Pokemon. How? You didn't do anything there. You didn't even pet the Tauros. And you want to become Kahuna. The two of us are off on a date. How, as a matter of fact, we're heading to the city, and it's going to be great and excellent. You want to tag along too? How? Do you understand? How? Guys, don't be like Hal. Nobody likes a third wheel. Darn it, Hal! You ruined my plans! Oh, Hal. Anyways, next time we are going to head off to the biggest city in Alola. But we'll do that next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, or night, and I will see you all next time.